Thank you so much, Jim. And I'd like to say hello to all my fellow Sea Change members and partners. It's a great pleasure to be with you today to celebrate 10 years of collaborating to conquer cancer. I've had the great honor and privilege to be involved with Sea Change since very early on, when we were then known, as Jim said, as the National Dialogue on Cancer. But as you all know, we moved quickly from an organization simply about dialogue to one that was focused on creating real change. To that end, I had the very good fortune of working with many other members and partners and a very talented team to help formulate a new brand identity for the dialogue that signified the strength of our membership and our ability to conquer cancer by accelerating the change that we all seek. The result of this undertaking has been Sea Change. As many of you know, since very early on, the Board of Directors, the Communications Committee, and many of the teams have discussed how Sea Change could use the power of communications to help achieve our goals to reduce cancer mortality and morbidity. But we had resisted executing a traditional public service awareness campaign for two important reasons. First, one of the critical tenets of Sea Change is to leverage the power of collaboration and, importantly, not to duplicate the work of its members. Many of you already have great programs reaching the public with life-saving messages, and we did not believe that there was a need to create another tactical initiative. Second, we have had several teams that have been working very hard in a variety of areas such as prevention, access, research, clinical trials, and state cancer plans. For a very long time, we simply did not have the capacity to support all the teams with separate communications efforts. But about 3 years ago, we decided that with Sea Change's newly invigorated strategic direction in prevention and early detection, and with the call by the President's Cancer Panel for a more unified effort among disease-focused public and non-governmental agencies, the time had come to use the power of communications to advance our collective goals. What we set out to do was, one, to leverage the leadership and expertise that our membership represents in all sectors. Second, to collaborate to complement the efforts of each individual member. And third, to promote and facilitate a unified message to the public. In June of this year, we launched the Sea Change Communications Initiative with the help of Edelman Public Relations, as well as many of our esteemed members and partners. And rather than stand up here and describe the initiative in great detail, I'm going to let our members explain. Would you roll the video now, please?
For too long, Americans have become accustomed to thinking that cancer just happens. But we now know that the things we do or don't do as we go about our daily lives can affect our cancer risk.
With millions of Americans diagnosed with cancer each year, we cannot afford to wait. We need to let Americans know that just 4 simple daily steps can actually help prevent cancer. Your help in delivering this unified message is vital.
Sea Change's new communications initiative represents our combined effort to speak with one voice to the American people about this basic life-saving fact. Eating right, being active, avoiding smoking and tobacco, and getting screened can reduce your cancer risk.
We're grateful for your support of Sea Change and happy to be working with you. Together we can build awareness, change behavior, and save lives.
With your help, the Sea Change Communications Initiative has the potential to eliminate the confusion experienced by so many Americans when it comes to the best way to prevent cancer or detect it at its earliest, most treatable stages.
Right now, the public gets a lot of different kinds of messages about prevention. And while they may all have the same underlying basis, often they say the same things in very different ways. And the public gets confused.
And we believe that that just gives them an excuse not to do anything about taking care of their health.
More than 10.8 million Americans are living with the previous diagnosis of cancer. And just think, approximately 560,000 people died of cancer in 2005, and the disease was responsible for almost 23% of all deaths.
Too many people feel helpless, that it's a random event, that everybody's destined to eventually get cancer. It's simply not true. It is today the most preventable of the life-threatening diseases facing Americans.
Organizations like ours, the Prevent Cancer Foundation, other nonprofits, the government, and corporate partners can all play a role in educating the public about steps they can take to reduce their risk of developing cancer or to detect it early.
The real opportunity in this initiative is that if each of our member organizations uses the common messages in their communications with the public and with their constituents, we'll reach far more people than we could ever reach as a single organization trying to do the same thing.
If you do the right things, you can reduce dramatically your risk of dying prematurely of cancer. What you need to do is take good care of yourself, eat right, get exercise, and have proper screening, and of course, avoid tobacco.
As a Sea Change member and partner, we're asking all other Sea Change members to join us by supporting these consistent messages and delivering them to help people reduce their risk of cancer. Terrific, thank you. Many of the communication initiative's messages have already found their way into programs of Sea Change members' organizations, and adoption is in development by many others. The best way to illustrate how this initiative has been working during the past 6 months is to get your feedback and input directly. So with that, I'm going to ask for some volunteers, and my colleague and partner of Sea Change, Anthony Signorelli, is out there with a microphone, as is Gary Gurian. And we want to find out how your organizations have been integrating the messages or might be planning to do so in the future. And to start, I'd love to hear from my good friend, Bo Alderje, whose organization, and you saw her on the video, the Prevent Cancer Foundation, was one of the first to adopt the messages. There we have Bo.
Hi, Peggy. Well, I'd also like to say what a pleasure it is to be in this room with everybody that we've been working with for the last 10 years and even before that, particularly to get out messages about cancer prevention and early detection, because I have to say that even before Sea Change adopted this initiative 3 years ago, that was the core of our foundation's message since 1985 when we were founded. We embraced this messaging initiative wholeheartedly and have done a few things that maybe distinguish us a little bit from some of the other groups. I suspect most of you have done something with your website. Certainly, we took our homepage and reconfigured it just slightly because we were already telling people that they needed to get smart, get fit, and get checked. So under Get Smart, obviously, you've got the anti-tobacco message. Get Fit includes eating well and exercising, and Get Checked includes getting the recommended screenings for cancer. So we folded that into all our messaging on the homepage of the website and then on subsequent pages. But we did something a little bit different, which is developed a series of PSAs about what we consider the 8 preventable cancers, which are the solid tumors that are responsible for really the overwhelming majority of cancer deaths. And these PSAs started with one for skin cancer, one for colorectal cancer, a breast cancer PSA, prostate cancer PSA, and most recently, in celebration of the fact this is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, a lung cancer PSA. So I'd like to ask that the slides go up and we can talk a little about this. This is the boxer Sugar Ray Leonard talking about knocking out prostate cancer. It has the screening message very firmly embedded. The Elvis impersonator also talking about screening for colorectal cancer. Next one, please. The tobacco message is embodied in this crushed cigarette, which winds up blooming with new life, and we feel that that's a way of conveying the message that it's really never too late to quit. Start early, never stop, clearly conveys the message that it's important to protect yourself from the sun. And finally, whoops, well, the breast cancer PSA is up in the upper left. It's also a screening message, and it is, you can see that all these have also been translated into Spanish. So they've been distributed to both English language publications and Spanish language publications. I think that's as many slides as I plan to show.